bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
Dr. Ken Harris. I always catch myself, and I always want to make sure I do this. And so every time, right before, about 15 seconds prior when it starts to fade, I go to plug in my headphones. And I looked and I said to myself, well, that was pretty easy. That was like real easy. And then I look at the headphone, it's the wrong set of headphones. So I would have plugged in the wrong set of headphones, put them on, and heard nothing. Then I would have thought, oh my gosh, something's broken. No, dummy, you broke it. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. It's going to be one of them days. It's Thursday. But today it's not Pop-Off Thursday. I always forget what I call Thursday. Friday is Pop-Off Friday, so Thursday is what? I can never remember. And so everything I need for my show, ironically, I put in my pockets. Because I know I'm going to forget. And sure enough, here I am. And I made it. And you made it. Want to remind you, you can stream and watch us on YouTube at 1017thetruth.com. Just make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a live show. So, I have a comment for someone. I was about to say someone and somebody. And that's why you get those weird words when I say somebody, right? I got a message, and this is for someone, and I know everybody thinks I hate public education, and I don't. I'm a proud recipient of Chicago public school system, and personally, I think I had a pretty good education. But I need to say something to someone so that they understand exactly where it is I'm coming from. And in order to do that, I need to speak to this person directly. And so I'm not, that's a lie. I'm calling them out. And I'm telling them so that there's no misunderstanding. And so if someone wants to try to find it, they can simply Google on YouTube or just, I guess, Google. Dear Jill Underly. Now, if you don't know who Jill Underly is, she is the superintendent, the newly reelected, which I still don't understand why, superintendent of public instruction. Okay? So rather than go through all the, what's the word I'm looking for? Machinations and ridiculousness, I thought I would just talk to her directly. I thought I would just say to her what I wanted to say. So, it's almost like people set themselves up for failure, right? And there's a story on WPR.org, Wisconsin Public Radio, I guess that's what it is, .org, that's titled, Wisconsin Superintendent Says Schools Will Not Comply with Federal Request to Eliminate DEI Programs. Schools at risk of losing Title I funding if they don't comply with Trump administration directive about diversity, equity, and inclusion. I find it interesting that a white woman whose kids were in public schools, she didn't like it so she could afford a Catholic school, was able to send her kids to Catholic school, but she doesn't want anybody else to be able to do that. If you don't like the fact that your kids are in a certain school and that they don't like the school or it's a bad school, she don't care. She thinks you should stay in a public school, and if it's trash, your kid will grow up as trash, and they will learn trash, and their life will be trash, and they will grow up to be trash and have little trash kids. Because to her, she don't care. In other words, she don't give a flip about you or your kids. Wisconsin school districts, this is the story from WPR.org, Wisconsin school districts won't comply with a directive from the Trump administration to eliminate diversity, equity, and inclusion programs until districts have more information. On yesterday, State Superintendent Jill Underly asked the U.S. Department of Education for clarification on both the intent and legality of an April 3rd directive that schools sign a letter acknowledging they're following the government's interpretation of civil rights law. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is nowhere included in the Civil Rights Act. Read it. This year, Wisconsin received $216 million of Title I money. 82%, $82 million of that went to MPS. Now, this is a woman that says she cares about public schools, but she's letting her politics drive what money schools like MPS get. And so, let me do the math. 82, can't press the wrong thing, divided into 216 is roughly 38%. So over a third of the money for the entire state of Wisconsin for Title I funds from the federal government goes to Milwaukee Public Schools. We already know, we really don't know what the last superintendent did with the money. Underly said the request from Department of Education potentially violates required procedural steps, is unnecessarily redundant, and appears designed to intimidate school districts by threatening to withhold critical education funding. Is that your job to do that? Or if the president is telling you if you don't comply, you don't get any money, comply and then fight it. Get the money that you need for the schools that they sorely need, and then fight. But don't fight just to fight when you're not losing anything and you have zero dog in this race. Because these other school districts, they don't have DEI policies. You think they got a DEI policy in Superior, Wisconsin? No. In La Crosse? Maybe. In Green Bay, they should. In Milwaukee, sure. In Podunk, Wisconsin, absolutely not. They don't give a flip about black or brown or blue or green or yellow kids. But that's okay. It's their school district and it's public and it reflects their community. She said, we cannot stand by while the current administration threatens our schools with unnecessary and potentially unlawful mandates based on political beliefs. But yet she's fighting it based on political beliefs. Our responsibility is to ensure Wisconsin students receive the best education possible. You should have thought about that over the last 4 years when you jacked up the schools. And that means allowing schools to make local decisions based on what is best for their kids and their communities. But yet you're making it for them. I find it interesting. They're trying to interpret Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Many schools have advanced discriminatory practices and policies under the banner of DEI initiatives. Well, the problem is, had they just did what they did and didn't call it DEI, I believe it would be a non-issue. The document from the federal government went on to say that schools could engage in historical observances like Black History Month so long as they don't engage in racial exclusion or discrimination. How many white people you know came to Black History Month celebrations? A good number. We also go to each other's for St. Patrick's Day. So let's get rid of St. Patrick's Day too. Columbus, anything indigenous, everything. If you're going to wait a minute, that's what they're trying to do. Whitewash everything. And so now you have a school superintendent for the state of Wisconsin who decided on her own that she's going to make sure MPS doesn't get $82 million, at least. Fighting the good fight that doesn't affect her at all. You see, standing up for what you believe in is only good when you have a basis. For the next 3 years and some change, suck it up, get your money, figure out new ways. Because I'm going to tell you, before DEI, we were fine. DEI really bumped up after COVID, after George Floyd. But before that, we were processing things and making some inroads, right? But the problem is we keep comparing ourselves to white people. Well, we only have 4% of this, and white people have 34%. I don't care. Do the best you can. Add as many to the occupation as you can, to the school, to the job. Just keep moving. I keep saying it. White people are not the arbiters of wealth. They just have more. They're not the arbiters of education. They're just more of them. They're not the arbiters of good neighborhoods. They just move to the suburbs. And I know I'm generalizing, but I'm trying to help you understand that this doesn't help us. We've got schools in Milwaukee that are black. Under this rule, guess what? You know the first school we would shut down? Anybody know? Milwaukee School of Languages. What's another one? Any school, any immersion school, French, German, get rid of it. Boop. It's race related. It's cultural. Get rid of it. And by the way, that means every single Jewish school would never receive any money, but I don't think they receive any federal funding anyway. You get my point? We're missing something because now we have a white female who's decidedly liberal, which is okay, who then turns around and wants to do what? Become an ally to the black community when actually she's shooting us in the foot. And if MPS loses $82 million, this is the same woman that lowered standards so you can't tell whether or not black kids are doing well or not. Hit it. Oh, but we just going to change the name and call it something different, and we won't bother with, and so their test scores. No. There has to be a standard. And our kids can rise to the occasion. You don't lower standards or change names so that you can make people feel good or make it look like they're passing when they're not. Because 10 years down the road, when they're 18 years old, after they graduated from 8th grade, they can't get into college. And you know whose fault it is? It's ours, because we never said anything. We keep allowing politics to drive everything we do. It drives money, where you live, how you vote. And now your kid's school? This woman is about to destroy Milwaukee Public Schools. If you think Milwaukee Public Schools had issues, think again. And the new school superintendent, who calls herself a woman of color, she's about to catch it too. Because now they're going to be looking at her sideways. Oh, you're mixed? Huh. They're going to tag the black side. Next thing you know, because that's what always happens. Until somebody takes a step back and lets her know that most black people did not want you to use race preferences and stereotypes as a factor for admissions, hiring, promotion, and scholarship. They can do the work. Matter of fact, because of our historical issues and problems in this country we call America, in most instances, we exceed most people we come up in contact with. So you can't take the kid that's good at math and compare him to the kid that's good at volleyball and then show how smart the kid that does math is smart. We keep getting compared to white people in areas where they know that particular student isn't good at. Meanwhile, we've got thousands of kids going to school, graduating and becoming medical doctors and dentists, physicists, right? We don't shine a light on them. So when you get woke enough to recognize that this woman is jacking your schools in the state of Wisconsin, but guess what? You voted her in. So you put up with her shenanigans. But when you do complain, and when you do write, all I suggest is you don't send one letter with 10,000 signatures. You actually send 10,000 letters so she understands that she messed up. Oh, and by the way, when you start your letter, make sure your letter says, Dear Jill Underly.
And that is Dr. Ken's Truth on the new 101.7 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk.
You don't want to be there. You don't like the work. You don't like the people. Now, there are some differences. The only difference is modern American slavery and capitalism versus 19th century. We were dramatically more primitive back then. And a slave that is able to buy their freedom is the same as the disaffected, disgruntled worker that is able to buy their way into entrepreneurship because that for them is freedom.
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Sharon needed legal help. She needed Gruber Law Offices.
When I think about Gruber Law Office, I think about how they took care of me, how they make sure that you get what you're supposed to get. Gruber Law Office. One call, that's all. I will always trust one call, that's all.
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
They are the best. I'm very happy.
Gear up for a great time as Sports Milwaukee hosts Milwaukee Tailgate Week, presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Set for April 24th to the 26th, Milwaukee Tailgate Week features a variety of gridiron activations for all ages, steeped in Milwaukee's iconic sports history, brews, restaurants, and venues. As the 2025 draft takes center stage in Green Bay, Sports Milwaukee and the Cream City are excited to welcome the football world to Wisconsin. For tickets, go to visitmilwaukee.org/tailgate. Brought to you by Visit Milwaukee. Handcrafted, homegrown, world class.
Use promo code VISIT for 50% off. Ever had a question about local services, neighborhood events, civic engagement, or ways to get more involved in the community and just didn't know who to ask? That's where 1MKE comes in. 1MKE is a nonpartisan coalition helping Milwaukee residents to find trusted information and easy opportunities to get civically engaged. Want to plug into a neighborhood event, find community services, give back through volunteering? 1MKE is here to help. Learn more and get involved at 1mke.org. That is 1mke.org. We are 1MKE.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. You know, there's a lot of buzz going around the draft, but you won't see one seeping through Pella's Windows and Doors. In fact, you should make Pella your number one pick, because right now you can take advantage of no interest finance options or free glass upgrades. Their talented designers and installers can match your unique home through seamless customization. Certain restrictions apply, and the deal ends April 30th of this year. So, place your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com. That's PellaWI.com. Make sure you sign up for it. Make sure. What am I missing? Let me go back to. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Jill Underly at all. If she wants to come on my show, I'll be glad to have her, because some of the things that she does and some of the things that she decides she wants to do make no sense to me whatsoever. It doesn't. It just makes no sense. I'm going to fight and I'm going to interrupt because the politicians won't do it. We're going to do anything that makes Trump look bad. We're going to do anything. Or, hey, let's take this money, sit down with the Trump administration and say, now look, give us some more guidance. And then you did it on the 10th and you got 14 days? How dumb is that? Well, we're going to force their hand because if we lose money, then he's going to look bad. He ain't going to care. He's going to be like, oh, y'all did that. Y'all wait. Oh, you want to fight me? Go to court. Supreme Court's backed up into oblivion. Good luck with that. And you'd have to go to what? The U.S. Supreme Court. Get out of here. Got to go to federal court. Got to go to Eastern District of Wisconsin for work your way. Yeah. Okay. And we'll be sitting here waiting and waiting and waiting. Meanwhile, we won't have any money. And then when you don't have money, they will do exactly what Democrats always do. It's their fault. Yeah, we jacked it, but it's their fault. Always blame somebody else for their mess up. And then when they do something good, they step in the way. It really wasn't that black politician's fault. It was some white guy or gal from Madison that actually did it. They'll always figure out a way to win. But this is the same group of people that want to be your ally. And it's really unfortunate because one of the things that has seeped out of society is religion. That thing that helps people recognize the moral side and the immoral side, those things that we do wrong when we wrong our brother or sister, helps remind us to heal. And we have an entire generation that's like, whatever. So how are we going to fix stuff? It kind of transcends race. It kind of transcends culture. It kind of transcends ethnicity when you find that commonality. Now, Granted, I have to say on good authority that the most segregated day of the week is Sunday, church. But that's reflective of culture. And I go to a predominantly black church that has a good number of white members who operate like a black person who goes into a white church. I think it comes down to denomination. But in the end, we need to figure out how we're going to make the Milwaukee Public Schools better than they were. That's all. 833-212-1017 is the number. White Widow, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What you want?
Hey, afternoon. Good news first. All the bougies at the VA who thought it was okay to work from home are now coming back to work. They're creating their office.
All the who?
Bougies.
Okay. Do you know what
those people who think they're so important?
Do you understand? Well,
since COVID, they didn't come back because they're so important to work from home.
Time out. Bougie people don't like think. I don't know if you should tag people that think they're most important as bougie.
You're right about that. You're right. What should we call them? Elitists? Should we call them the special? Let's call them the special people who don't have to show up for work for 3 years.
Okay,
they're coming back to work.
Don't call them special because that insults people that ride on the special bus. You know, the short bus. That's insulting them.
No, I'm not saying where your elevator don't go up to the top floor. I'm just saying they think they're so special and creative and wonderful.
Well, the reason I say that is because I got a hat that says black and bougie, and that's me. So I'm a little offended that you would call shiftless people.
I'll stand corrected. Send me a picture of you in that hat. Let me talk about the MPS.
I will put it on.
Okay,
all right.
I don't do Instagram or
that's
YouTube.
Your fault.
You know that.
That's your fault.
Okay, well, I might expand my horizons one day, but I'm scared. Okay, but
and just follow 101 and just follow 1017 The Truth on Insta, and then you'll be able to just see everything we do.
You know what? I might do that just to expand my horizons, and it's a safe platform. Thank you. But you know what? Let me jump into this. It is with distraught and dismay that I sit here and listen to about this lead problem in these schools. I said it a month ago. You cannot deep clean lead. You have to abate it, just like asbestos. And the fact of the matter is where they're saying they have to remove the lead and they have to paint it. They have to find out where the dust is coming, is the source, the ventilation, and correct it.
Okay,
and
you ready?
Me.
Just clean the whole school.
What?
Just do the whole school.
Exactly, and then the woman for MPS lead safety program, the white woman gets up there and says when they
wait a minute, does it matter that she's white?
Guy,
but does it matter that she's white?
Yeah, because DPI did nothing about hiring any type of black people in positions, especially young males or males in the City Hall or the Zeidler building that I've been visiting for the last couple of years.
Okay.
I'll elaborate that she's white.
Well, people hire themselves. So unless you get a black leader in there, well, clearly they don't.
You're right, family and friends. Family and
friends.
Yeah, sure. Right, but this is what happened. She gets up and she said, "No inspection? I can't believe that. Lady, you're right down the hall from that guy. How do you not audit to find out if there's an inspection going on if you're head of the lead safety program for the kids in our schools?" I'll leave it at that, but this is what kills me, Dr. Ken.
All right.
You know full well as a worker that union rep or any of those teachers in that school could file an OSHA complaint. It would be done by the federal standards, and you wouldn't have these clowns getting up there and saying, "We tried to get a hold of the CDC, Center of Disease Control."
Why are they calling CDC? That's ridiculous.
They tried to call the CDC to assist them. The head of some clown got up. I don't take the names. And I go and I said, and they said, "Oh, those people were fired." I said, "You're CDC for lead? The lead that the hazards and the remediation and engineer controls have been known for 50 years.
Be nice to people.
It's safer for our kids to work in a factory.
Come on. Some people just don't know what to do, right? They making a couple of $100,000 a year. They just don't know what to do. Come on.
How can they not be burst on that? Look at me. I'm telling you, I can go toe-to-toe with any. And you know what? If you don't have the expertise, then why aren't you getting an industrial hygienist in there? Why aren't you calling 1-800-ANGIE? And you got that new superintendent.
They're not calling Angie for a school. But here's the thing they did do. They got rid of the maintenance guy, and they got rid of the guy because he wasn't doing his job. So thank you, White Widow. I appreciate you. God bless. Earl, you're on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
All right, so let's talk fact and not fiction. Fact is, those 156 schools in Milwaukee public schools belong to the city of Milwaukee and the taxpayers.
Correct.
Okay. This conversation that many people have who don't have a clue fail to understand that this is not an issue solely that Milwaukee Public Schools has the capacity to fix. So where is the Common Council? Where is the mayor? Where are people calling out for elected officials?
Exactly.
And especially on the state level,
exactly,
which has done all that it can to not fund not just public schools but schools properly across the state. Okay, and so when people don't know and they say Milwaukee Public Schools should make sure that all these schools are taken care of and lead free. Let's look at it from this perspective.
What's that?
Every day, people know on the level of the governor, the mayor, all elected officials, business leaders, that many children are going into schools every day and being exposed to lead, and is not priority one.
So how do we fix it?
That's the question.
So then how do we fix it?
You fix it by making it priority one and stop saying, hey, it's all Milwaukee Public Schools. Let me also say to you that there are lead issues in older schools all over this nation.
Absolutely.
It's a major issue.
Yep.
Okay, I know, but I'm not hearing that, man.
I don't care
I'm
about
hearing
other schools.
Milwaukee Public Schools.
I care about Milwaukee Public Schools and the kids that are there.
I hear you.
Okay.
But all I'm hearing is that Milwaukee Public Schools is not doing this and not doing that. As
it's
I
a separate
stated,
district.
Not once have
They're a separate district.
Not once have I
no
heard
control over it. None.
Not once. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about what he does have control over are the buildings, because they belong to the city. And so if MPS is not taking care of those buildings and the lead issues, which are at a crisis level, then the city needs to step forward and not say, well, Milwaukee Public Schools can't get it done.
And
make sure that the buildings are safe for the students who are residents of the city.
And how do they do that?
And the students and the families are residents of the state.
And so how do they do that? Do they get funding so that they can start?
They do whatever is necessary, man. Well, I mean, what kind of questions are? How do they do that? These are the people who are in charge.
Because you brought it up. What's the solution? That's kind of general.
But clearly, what the solution is to do whatever is necessary to clean the buildings up. How idiotic and moronic is it for people to continue to talk about this, knowing that children that are exposed to lead become adults, and knowing the impact of what happens to children.
Correct.
And when they're children, and the impact of lead and what happens down the road with the damages kids can't learn. Kids who can't learn then become adults who become a major problem for the society.
Correct.
So take care of it on the front end.
All right. Thank you much. I appreciate it. But my question is what? How? Everybody says fix it. Okay. Make it a priority. Okay. When we come back, I'm going to reiterate my idea that I had on how to start fixing lead in schools. And now with traffic here on 101.7 The Truth, Milwaukee Black Talk Traffic, here is Debbie Lazaga.
Southbound on 43, going to be a hefty ride from just south of Capitol Drive all the way down through the Marquette, over the high-rise bridge down to about Lincoln. The northbound side's really slowing down from just about Kilbourne all the way up to Keefe. Westbound 94, watch for delays from 20th Street all the way through to Hawley Road. On the eastbound side, we got some slowing right through the Barker Road area to Brookfield Road. Then from 84th Street all the way to 35th. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, clearing skies with a low of 33. Tomorrow, sunny skies, a high of 46 at the lake, 51 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 101.7 The Truth.
Don't touch that dial. More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It's 414 Day Weekend, Milwaukee, and we're going big. Come hang with Jammin' with Juice live at Clicks in Shorewood this Saturday, April 12th from 1 to 3 p.m. We're celebrating the city at Clicks as they drop their latest 414 Day shoe with Adidas. They'll have custom sneaker art by Alexander John, flash tattoos by MGN Studios, and food from Toya's Kitchen. It's all going down at 1916 East Capitol Drive in Shorewood. Don't miss the vibes, the art, the food, and all things Milwaukee.
This is your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
So, Black women's leadership needs to be prioritized. That means a whole lot of things, but it includes a message for white women, which would be, it'll be wise for you to take our lead. We've already demonstrated everything there is to the world about who we are. We shouldn't have to keep doing that over and over again. The reality is that there are times when we got to muster up the energy to do some things we don't want to do, but I don't want that to be commonplace for me, and I certainly don't want it to be commonplace for other Black women. There's often this message that we need to stay strong because there are people depending on it. No, we need ourselves.
Yeah, you can't, what do they say? You can't pour from an empty cup?
Yes. And I even am hearing people say a lot more, you shouldn't pour from your cup at all until it overflows. And it's the overflow that you give. You keep the full cup for yourself.
This has been your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute. Truth Nation, let us talk our ish for a moment. There is no other station in the country where you get a front row seat to hear from some of the biggest names in politics, pop culture, and sports. People like Grammy Award winner John Legend.
Knowing that fight isn't over, knowing that we've got to stay motivated and stay inspired. Glory was a song that myself and Common wrote. Two brothers from the Midwest, from Chicago and from Springfield, Ohio.
Oscar Award winning actor Don Cheadle.
I know that we're the bright, shiny thing that sometimes gets the attention, but I would say don't listen to celebrities. You don't have to listen to us. Listen to yourself.
And President Donald Trump's son, Don Jr.
When did we have a strong economy? And I don't think anyone with a straight face can say right now. And the reality, when you look at it, it's not even voting for my father. Look at the team that's now surrounding him.
Tap into the award-winning and nationally recognized 1017 The Truth by downloading the Truth app and streaming us live at 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Milwaukee Black Talk.
This is Associated Bank Sports Update on 1017 The Truth, powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Snide. Milwaukee Brewers getting win number 3 in a row on Wednesday night, thanks in large part to Jackson Chourio, who had 5 runs batted in, including this 3-run home run.
Is a high fly ball, deep left field. Jackson Chourio goes deep at Coors. Chourio's 4th home run of the season. It is a 3-run blast. And the Brewers have broke it open in Denver.
Brewers throttling the Rockies in Denver there. 17-2 the final score. With that win, they improved to 7-5 on their season. And lastly, heading over to the NBA, where the Milwaukee Bucks will look for win number 6 in a row tonight as they get set to host the New Orleans Pelicans down here in downtown Milwaukee. That tip-off is set for 7 p.m. The Sports Update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening. Oh, I'm sorry. I was in there singing. Sorry. Sorry. 833-212-1017 is the number. And said our governor has COVID funds he could allocate for lead abatement. Well, he got all that other money. He got that surplus and all this other stuff, and he always wants to give it to public schools, but only certain public schools. Okay. Melody said, correct. MPS County, Milwaukee County, called City Health Department. What should we do about the lead problem? City Health Department said refurbish or remove. MPS decided superintendent has say to just refurbish. MPS call. I have a source. Yeah, it is what it is. Lead toxins, contaminants must be moved. Irreversible damage to growing children. What? Well, yeah. So here's the deal. Before the break, we were talking to Melody and Earl about MPS, and Earl said we need to do something, make it a top priority. Which means what? No, I'm not bashing what Earl said. What Earl said is 110% correct. We've got lazy city leaders whose kids may not go to MPS, so they don't really care. But, well, my kids are in public school. Which public school? Is it Whitefish Bay? Like, which one? Wauwatosa? Which one? Menominee Falls? Greendale? Greenfield? Which one? South Milwaukee? Oak Creek? They're right. So we say that, but when it comes down to brass tacks, supporting MPS, not so much. Well, you always complaining about MPS. Again, I don't complain about stuff I don't care about. If I didn't give two flips about MPS, I would pass up the story every single day. There's a story, and I don't know who it's by, Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty, WILL-law.org. I just Googled, and it was the one that popped up. So they don't follow state law. They got all these buildings. Now, this is from March 2017. 18, 19, 20, plus 5. That's called 8. So 8 years ago, they talked about the vacant buildings at MPS. 15 of them, to be exact. Now I think they're around 11. Does it matter? Well, here's the deal. How much money can we gather and garner to put together so that we can refurbish a school? What would it take to mitigate lead in a complete school? Get rid of it, remove it, repaint it, and do it. Let's do that to at least 3 to 5 schools simultaneously. It'll probably cost about, I don't know, maybe total, maybe about, and I'm guessing, I know nothing about lead abatement. But somebody will milk them because it's a political organization, right? It's a political entity, so they'll probably milk it for about somewhere between $3 and $5 million for the whole school. Got to pay people, got to remove the material, all that, right? So let's just, for giggles, pick $5 million per school. So let's get $15 million right away. Let's pick 3 of these schools, and I've said this before. Let's pick 3 of these schools. Take however long it's going to take, starting like, what's today? The 10th? Let's start May 1st. Mitigate all the schools. It'll probably take a good amount of time. I don't know. 3 months, 6 months, let's say 3. So by September, we pick what? 3 schools. And we take those schools and transfer them to the schools that have been mitigated. And then we take those 3 schools, and guess what we do? We mitigate those schools while they're in the other schools. Because these are vacant buildings that are just sitting there that nobody wants to touch, nobody wants to use, and they don't want to sell them because choice schools or charter schools might go in and, we'll lose. Well, you don't have the kids no way, but anyway. And then that way, we can take our time, mitigate the schools, save some lives. Start with the youngest kids. Or do we start with the kids who've been in lead the longest? See, there's no easy way to fix it other than to fix it. We don't have the money that it would take. Right? We talk about it, but nobody wants to spend it. So you wonder, how much money does it take to mitigate? And I'm checking now. An entire, and I don't know what the square footage of a average school is. A school for lead abatement. That might even be the right question. The cost to mitigate an entire school, this is from AI Overview, by the way, on Google. The cost to mitigate an entire school for lead abatement can vary greatly, but it's generally a significant expense. Factors like the school size, extent of the lead-based paint, and the chosen abatement methods all influence the final price. A reasonable estimate is somewhere between $8 to $17 per square foot. So let's do this. What's the average cost? What is the average square footage? Can't spell today. Footage of a Milwaukee public school. Just the average square foot, 62,865. So if the average square footage of an MPS building, that's 17.3 million square feet. So if we take the lowest, you want to take the lowest number? Because, we always go to the lowest bidder. To the lowest bidder? Yeah, we always go to the lowest bidder, right? So let's say $8 per square foot times $17,300,000. It would take $138,400 to mitigate MPS. All the schools, all of them, 138 million, right? So if we're going to get a referendum, and we just had a referendum for $252 million, and they turned around and told us, oh, it's not enough. Sorry, we're going to ask again. Stupidity. Then that's what it's going to take. Because if you think the 142 school buildings, 8 support buildings, and other facilities, averaging about 62,865 square feet each, that's 17.3 million square feet of school they have to abate. And even though we're not abating lead on the floor, because we don't paint the floor in some instances, they're going to include it. They go, 8 square foot. We're going to go square foot. And so what needs to happen is, if we're going to have a referendum, let's have a referendum to abate lead in schools. Would you pay to have that done? Would you pay, and I'm talking to homeowners because, we're the ones that'll end up having to foot the bill. Would you pay for a 10-year, $138 million referendum for lead abatement? 833-212-1017 is the number. I'm interested in what you have to say. Give me a call.
Don't touch that dial. More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Start jamming in the morning and get your daily drop of juice.
Juice gets you hydrated and started for your day. And that's what we plan to do from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Every single morning, we're going to be keeping you in the mix, talking about everything you care about all before 9 a.m.
So wipe that crust out your eyes and get ready for jamming with juice.
Turning your mornings into your favorite part of the day.
Get that steak breath out of here. Brush your teeth.
It's it, bro. Like, what? Catch Jammin' with Juice
from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Good morning, Milwaukee.
Join the City of Milwaukee for a chance to connect your business to potential contracting opportunities with the city and county government at the upcoming City of Milwaukee Vendor Fair. This event is a gateway to expand your business through workshops, networking, and access to staff regarding city contracting opportunities. The event takes place from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. on Thursday, April 24th at BMO Tower, 790 North Water Street, floors 2 and 11. Again, that's the City of Milwaukee Vendor Fair on Thursday, April 24th from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. at the BMO Tower in downtown Milwaukee. Come learn about the city's bid submittal process, small business certification, and contracting opportunities. Parking validation is available for this event at the BMO Tower. You don't want to miss this one. Save the date for April 24th at BMO. Sponsored by the City of Milwaukee Department of Administration, City of Milwaukee Purchasing Department, and the City of Milwaukee Department of City Development. For more information, you can visit milwaukee.gov/DOA events.
Want to help build a better Milwaukee? 1MKE is a nonpartisan coalition of over 70 community partners making it easier to plug in to what matters. From local services that can save you time and money, to events that build community, to voting resources to ensure your voice is heard. Whether you're new to civic engagement or ready to level up your impact, there's a place for you at 1MKE. Learn more, get involved at 1mke.org. That's 1mke.org. We are 1MKE.
Maya is always on the move, and so is her money. Buy this here, deposit that there. She and her money are a lot to keep track of. Good thing Maya banks with Landmark Credit Union and uses their amazing mobile app. Maya checks her balance, deposits checks, pays bills, even transfers money between friends. So while Maya is coming and going, she can see her funds coming, going, and, best of all, growing. Landmark Credit Union. Banking made easy. Insured by NCUA.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Serious truck crash? Call Gruber Law Offices today.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Baby, you can't go on wondering where you belong. Let me help you find yourself, 'cause you don't need nobody else. Oh, you should be right.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. You know, there are times in life when life tosses a curveball and you have to readjust, realign, rededicate all of your resources, you know, when it's too much month left over at the end of your money. You got to make things better. Sometimes you may know what to do, and many times it's the first time you've ever had to face an issue, especially when it's financial. You know, we grow up where, let me talk about me. I grew up at a time where your family never really talked about finances. You never really knew how much money your mother or your father made. You might know where they work, but that's about it. You know, for the last couple of decades, I've been able to turn to Educators Credit Union. I've had financial issues that involved family members, and I was able to go in and get advice and make a plan. I'm here to tell you today, one of the reasons I'm here today is that it worked. And educators are members, and that's what you become. It's not a us and them, it's we. Our members are our purpose. As a credit union, we're not concerned about profits or the bottom line or shareholders and all that stuff. Our greatest reward is you achieving your financial dreams through lower rates and access to those same free financial resources. So you can experience more heart and less hassle by making the switch today. Achieve more at ECU.com. That's Educators Credit Union, insured by NCUA. Membership eligibility is required. 833-212-1017 7 is the number. Somebody said, Happy Friday Eve. Wow. All right. So somebody said, Joe said it's an expensive task mitigating, modernizing water systems, school infrastructure systems that are totally lead-free. So, like, how much is life? How much is a kid's life worth to grow up knowing that you're putting them in a predicament where they can't learn, they can't read, their IQ lessons? Oh, I didn't want to spend the money. That's okay. But if it was your kid, you'd be out there screaming. Well, you should, like Earl said, you should be out there screaming and hollering. But we don't even have city leaders that are doing that. Not one older man or woman has said anything about it. If I'm wrong, and I hope I am, please send me the statement and correct me, because I'm not hearing anything. Mayor hasn't said anything. It's a travesty, but then we don't do anything. Figure out a way to raise money. County, don't care. State, don't care. But let a teacher make an OSHA complaint, and all of a sudden, it's amazing where that money would come from. And the state could pay for it tomorrow, $138 million. Boom, done, COVID money. But what do? Always wait for somebody else to do it. And I get talked about and told my children, your children are spoiled. Well, guess what? By the way, Top 5 at 5 is coming up. That's why my kids went to private school.
Join your boy Tori Lowe and the Truth Team for our community cleanup on Saturday, April 12th. Go to truthcommunitycleanup.com to sign up to volunteer at one of our 3 cleanup locations. Everyone who joins gets a free lunch provided by Cousin Subs. Register today by visiting truthcommunitycleanup.com. Bring the whole family to help clean our city. The Tori Lowe Cleanup is presented by 1MKE and sponsored by Cousin Subs, Ray's Coca-Cola, Landmark Credit Union, U.S. Cellular, and Waste Management.
Here at the new 1017 The Truth, we aim to be a staple in Milwaukee's Black community. We are committed to partnering with local organizations and supporting Black-owned businesses. We are proud to call Milwaukee our city and promise to be a positive reflection of our community. We look forward to celebrating Black culture and excellence with you every day as we make history and continue to uplift the voices in our city. Join us for the journey at the new 1017 The Truth, founded by Gruber Law Offices. Milwaukee Black Talk.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024 U.S. Bank.
Life's better with American Family Insurance, because whether it's a family road trip in your dream car or hosting a family reunion in your dream home, we help you feel protected so you can enjoy those dreams with peace of mind. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Communities in Southern California urgently need our help. The Los Angeles wildfires have been some of the most destructive in state history. Thousands of homes destroyed, schools, classrooms, libraries, museums, places of worship, all lost, and livelihoods ruined. With so much devastation, students, families, businesses, and communities are now left struggling to recover. And that road to recovery will be a very long and a very difficult one. But there is hope. The SoCal Fire Fund provides immediate, free, and long-term support for countless community-centered recovery programs. You can be a part of providing those most impacted with the resources they need to move forward. So please, Visit SoCalFireFund.org to learn more about how you can join in this tremendous effort.
Listen to the man who tells you exactly how he sees it. The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris every weekday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people up, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 101.7 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Hour number 2. Top 5 at 5. You know what we can start doing? Every second hour, just title it Top 5 at 5 for Thursday, April 10th, 2025. And then that way I'll be... Watch this. I'll be able to keep up on YouTube and Spotify and a website. Well, which one did I say that? Oh, yeah. It was Thursday. Click. Because otherwise I'll just, What are you? I'm online. Oh, so when I used to broadcast live, and I'm going to start doing that again, on LinkedIn, I had like 87, it was like 100 and something. I was like, and I had to go through each one. Delete. Let me listen to this. Oh, I don't want to keep this. So in my off time over the weekend, like I'd watch something on TV, commercial break, I would go through the videos and delete, and I got it down to like maybe 12. It took me 6 months. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I got to sit here and listen to all this. So I can only imagine what producers do. Okay, so I got to figure out this and turn this and edit this and do this and I used to do that, except we had tape. You know, like it wasn't digital. You couldn't like scroll through, cut, paste, click, done. Right? Can't do that. Start here, boop, 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 and chop up a whole show in 10 minutes. And if it take you 10 minutes, it's probably 10 minutes too long. But then there's some things that you have to take your time doing. Some things are more important than others, like lead in public schools. But do we argue about that? Do we debate that? Well,
number 5.
From CBS58.com, this is a serious issue. Tougher laws on unlicensed drivers. They're debating that in Madison. Wait, what? Victims impacted by unlicensed drivers called on state legislators and lawmakers to impose stricter driving laws during a public hearing yesterday. The Assembly Committee on Criminal Justice and Public Safety held a testimony on a bill that would impose stiffer penalties on unlicensed drivers and car owners. Under current law, the most drivers without a license who cause accidents receive citations or a misdemeanor charge and no jail time. David Maxey, Republican from New Berlin, is proposing legislation that would increase penalties on unlicensed drivers from $100 to $1,000. Proposal targets car owners by issuing $1,000 citations if they knowingly let someone without an active license borrow their car, which means they'll just say what? They stole my car, which is a what? Misdemeanor. Okay. So here's my deal. If this didn't happen in your community, see, unlicensed drivers must be making their way to the suburbs. You can always tell when the legislature starts getting mad and upset about something. That's because it hit theirs. Same thing like I said before. Teen pregnancy, nobody cared about till it hit the suburbs. Rap music and its influence, it's negative. Nobody cared about till it hit the suburbs. There are so many different scenarios, and it's starting to affect a lot of people. That's what they say when it hits the white suburbs. Now it's affecting them. Now we got to do something about it. We're not going to care about lead abatement in a public school until somebody in the what is it, Arrowhead School District or Lake Country pops up, gets lead poisoning, and then there are going to be referendums and the governor going to find money coming out of his shoes to make sure he pays for it. And that's just how life is. When you're in the majority, you win. You're the king and the queen. You get all the gold. What do we get? Steak knives.
Number 4.
From WISN.com, Democratic Party Wisconsin Chair Ben Winkler will step down in June and not seek another term. Democratic Party of Wisconsin Chair Ben Winkler, W-I-K-L-E-R, will step down as party chairman when his term ends in January, capping off a 6-year stint overseeing several pivotal wins and losses. What are the pivotal wins? Here's my deal. I don't care who's in the Supreme Court. I don't care if you lose, and I don't care who the governor is. If you lose the presidential race in your state, y'all should get tagged. And I'm pretty sure that's why he's getting a, hey, it's been great. Your time is over. My belief, this is what Winkler said, the best time to hand off the torch of leadership of an organization when things are going great. Okay, you only won 2 races, governor and Supreme Court. What about the president? What about the assembly? And what about the state senate? Because every single person that's been in charge of the Democratic Party all said what? We have a very real chance of winning majorities in the state assembly and state senate and the governorship to win a trifecta. Here's the problem with that. The last time the Democrats were in charge of all of both houses and the governors, we got nothing. We got zip. And if you think it's bad now, let all Democrats take over. Oh, you'll have to wait your turn again.
Number 3.
From WISN.com, a 66-year-old woman was hit and killed by a train in Wauwatosa. Union Pacific train hit and killed a 66-year-old Wauwatosa woman on yesterday afternoon. Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's Office identified the woman as Wanda Faye Harris. The train hit her near 111th and Burleigh Streets around 3:30 in the afternoon. Wauwatosa firefighters rendered life-saving measures, but the woman was ultimately pronounced dead at the scene. Wauwatosa police said the woman was walking east to west across the tracks as the train was approaching. Police called the incident non-criminal. Why am I reading this story? In a statement, this is why. From Union Pacific, they said the train struck who? Okay, talking too fast. In a statement, Union Pacific said the train struck and said the incident did not happen at the crossing. That's all they cared about. It wasn't at the crossing, y'all. That person was up there. They weren't supposed to be there. They called the woman who was killed a trespasser. Now, do you think that was the most sensitive language to use against someone who's 66 years old who got hit by a train and killed in a very graphic way? Like that's your response? Union Pacific? She was no. It's not my fault. She's a trespasser. Wow. Interesting.
Number 2.
From Fox6Now.com. I guess it's on the way back, and they already said this. So when the police chief gave his update on crime, they stated that instances of human trafficking are starting to return. Prosecutors say 38-year-old Austin Chronister kept women in his house, assaulted them, forced them to have sex against their will, and made them change their last names. According to the criminal complaint, Chronister would throw BDSM parties at his State Street home, where one woman described an alleged sex dungeon was in the basement. Court records show he was bound over for trial in March and later posted $45,000 for the bond. So let's dig deeper into this human trafficking case. Case revolves around two women who say they moved into Chronister's home in 2017. Rules included sex on demand, being collared at all times. Both women said they were brutally sexually assaulted by Chronister and felt they could not leave. One woman said he would throw BDSM parties. If you don't know what that is, Google it. Not while your kids are around. For family and friends. And women said they were required to sign a contract that included obedience and deference, honesty, collar, and sex play. Also required the women to change their last name to St. Pierre as visitors to House St. Pierre, as the home was known. Visitors were showed around the house by another woman who is also named in the complaint. That woman, Kristen St. Pierre, is named in the complaint against Chronister, but is not charged in the case. Criminal defense attorney records show St. Pierre owns the house along with Chronister. She was briefly an assistant district attorney and former 911 emergency operator. So she knew how to skirt the law because she's a lawyer. The complaint says St. Pierre, whatever the name is, also had a collar and would control the mail. It says she kept one woman's birth certificate and social security card in a safe. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. But when y'all say black people do some strange stuff, I don't think so.
Number 1.
This also from Fox6Now.com. After outcry over recent U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement arrests at the Milwaukee County Courthouse complex, there's a video circulating regarding another apparent immigration arrest. Fox 6 News spoke with the fiance of the man on the video. She said when she first got the call, she thought it was a joke. Patricia Rainey describes what happened to her fiance, Jose Rosas Morales. He is the man in this now viral video on social media. The video appears to show him getting arrested on Tuesday, April 8th on 33rd and Scott on the south side. Rainey said her fiance told her it was an ICE arrest. They just picked him up and took him. He texted me when he was at the detention center. They let him call and message me before they had to book him or whatnot. 33-year-old father of 3 and Mexican native. Oh, he's a Mexican native? That's what we're calling people who are here illegally now, Mexican natives. Well, I'm an African native, I get. Am I African native? Anyway. Left court and race scene and arrived at his Milwaukee home to get ready for work. She said agents arrested him before he could get inside. She said he was going to be detained at the Dodge detention facility until they can find a flight home for him to Mexico. Court records show he has a history of charges, including OWI and driving without a license. And so now people are, up in arms. However, immigration attorneys told Fox 6 News, ICE has the right to arrest undocumented people even if they haven't been convicted of or charged with a crime. Now, the couple does have a baby on the way, so that's a little tough. But if you knew someone was here illegally, right? if you knew someone was here illegally and they always have a chance of going to jail or getting deported, you have to be careful. And you have to start the procedure to become a citizen. And that's an unfortunate story. It really is. That is an unfortunate story. I wish that was something that hadn't happened, especially with something like OWI and, driving without a license. That's a bit petty. However, technically, he should not have been here. And that's unfortunate. 833-212-1017 is the number. When we come back, I'm torn between two stories I want to talk about. And so I'm going to pick the one that I think is a little more titillating. Talks about Issa Rae.
Don't touch that dial. More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Milwaukee Black Talk.
You don't want to be there. You don't like the work. You don't like the people. Now, there are some differences. The only difference is modern American slavery and capitalism versus 19th century. We were dramatically more primitive back then. And a slave that is able to buy their freedom is the same as the disaffected, disgruntled worker that is able to buy their way into entrepreneurship, because that for them is freedom.
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
It's 1017 The Truth. Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. There's lots of buzz surrounding the draft, but you won't find one seeping through Pella's windows and doors. In fact, you should make Pella your number one pick, because right now you can take advantage of no interest financing options or free glass upgrades as long as you order by April 30th. Make a statement by adding Pella's architectural interest inside and out with maximum design flexibility. Their talented designers and installers can match your unique home through dramatic sizes, custom colors, finishes, profiles, product types, and more. Along with durable and distinguished details, all Pella products stand the test of time, which is why they confidently offer the best wood warranty in the industry. Don't miss out on no-interest financing options or free glass upgrades at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Certain restrictions apply, and the deal ends April 30th, so place your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
It's 4-on-4 day weekend, Milwaukee, and there's no other way to celebrate it other than kicking it with Jim with Juice, live at Clicks in Sherwood. This Saturday, April 12th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. We're celebrating all of Milwaukee as Clicks drops the new 4-on-4 day shoe with Adidas. There will be custom sneaker art and flash tattoos, food from Toya's Kitchen, and it's all going down at Clicks in Sherwood. Don't miss the celebration, celebrating life, love, and hip-hop here in Milwaukee. It's amazing!
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Adrian was seriously injured when a careless driver merged into her lane.
Gruber was there for everything that I needed. Any questions that I had, Gruber was there. They made me feel like everything about my situation and my accident was very important to them, and that made me feel good. And I would definitely call Gruber again for that.
Serving Wisconsin for over 35 years, Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They go above and beyond for their clients.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is the JB's Monorail.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris, 833-212-1017. Okay, yeah, I had to get a little James Brown up in there, you know what I'm saying? I guess I got a producer got a little soul in him. So, he got a little old soul in him. So, you got to give him some love. Got to show him some love. 833-212-1017 is the number. Let me check the talk and text time before I get in trouble. Curriculum first, yes, but lead has got to be corrected. That's all I'm saying. Yeesh, they were still hit by that dang train. How is that trespassing if there's no sign saying so? Okay, first of all, does your front yard have a sign that says no trespassing? No. Does your porch, does your house have a sign that says no trespassing? No. Because if you enter onto private property that is not owned by you, it's automatically trespassing. If you break in, it's burglary because there's an expectation of privacy. I'm just saying. So you don't have to have a sign that say don't park here when you got your name on the park. Okay, I'm just saying. If you're that's like you opening up your garage door and driving away and leaving it open and I park in your garage. Hey, what are you doing in my garage? I don't see a sign that says no trespassing. Like, really? There's an expectation that you won't be there. There's an expectation that you won't climb up on train tracks and walk down the train tracks because the train tracks are actually owned by the railroad company. And you ain't supposed to be there. And if you walk your hiney over there with the sign at the crossing that say, ding, don't go, private property, don't go this way, don't walk this way, and you walk and get hit by a train, hey, it's unfortunate. It really is. Not really a city girl says, seriously, people in the school board are as slick as a preacher in snakeskin shoes with a collection plate. Now, don't go all there now. See, we was talking about that the other day. See, I used to like you. Now you just hurt my feelings. They pulled a Marvin Sapp on us. You've been sapped. Y'all need to quit. The stepping song. So then why do people put up a sign that says no trespassing if it's not needed? As a reminder, just curious. Simply that. It's a reminder. It's actually a reminder. Because what you're saying is that if I don't have a no trespassing sign on my private property, you should be able to walk in anytime you want. Ain't that ridiculous? Like, does that make any sense? Curly Q? Okay. But I get what you're saying. I get it. Maybe. Anyway, so my question to you is, can black people, rephrase, are black people the only ones that can show black art? That can redo black things? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like shows about living in the neighborhood. Shows about living in a black middle-class neighborhood. Like, could you watch The Cosby Show with a couple of white actors in there? Probably not. I mean, they tried it with A Different World. Didn't work. White girl at HBCU. I think they would have done better with a white guy at HBCU because I think that's more common. But I don't know. Are black people the only ones that can show black art, that can reveal black art, that can do black stories? One of the reasons Fences never became a movie was because the author, and why did I just forget his name? Years and years ago, who was the resident playwright at Columbia College in Chicago, only wanted a black person to produce it. So when he passed away, his family said, if you're not black, you can't produce this. And it took until Denzel Washington got a hold of it and was able to show it. All right, somebody tell me, 833-212-1017. What's due? August Wilson, who was that? Curly Q, thank you. And I met him in passing in the hallway, right? I was in the radio department, and I'm walking and said, hey, how are you? Hey, how you doing? What's your name? And I forget what he said, right? And then later, I look over, and I remember seeing on a list, it was for graduation or something, playwright in resident, August Wilson. And I'm like, oh, he must be cold. Not knowing he was that August Wilson, right? And then you read plays and you see books. You're like, whoa. Is that something that we have to always keep or be cognizant of or keep close to the vest? Like we're very adept at adopting predominantly white shows and making them black. And we're okay with that, right? We took The Wiz, The Wizard of Oz, and basically made it all black. Michael Jackson, Diana Ross. Everybody was happy. Oh, that's so cute. That's great, right? But if we took Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, that was all white, and made it all black, would we be okay with that? Will white people be okay with that? If we took, let me try to think of the Death of a Salesman. I mean, classic plays that are all white and made them black. But what if we took a movie like Friday and made it all white? Or Uptown, what you looking like that for? Or Uptown Saturday Night? See, I think part of the problem is that we are so adept at living in two cultures that we forget that some people don't have to. That we are some of the few cultures that have to literally integrate ourselves and then disintegrate ourselves from white culture every day, a couple times a day. Talk to this person one day, talk to that white person another day, talk to this person this way, that person that way. Like change at the drop of a hat. And it's tiring, by the way. I'm trying to let y'all know it's tiring. That's why you reach a certain age, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not changing my words. It's us. It's we. No, it's not. It's I. It's me. Because that's how I talk. And I'm not changing my verbs. I'm not changing my adjectives. I'm not changing my nouns because somebody else said I should. That's just how I am. That's just how I'm wired. That's just how I'm made. I either fit or I don't fit. Curly Q said an all-white Friday would be weird. Like, are they going to be themselves or will they be trying to act black? Well, no. We get to act white, so why can't they act black? Right? Why not? It's a movie. Suspend your disbelief and let a white person play a black person. You always let black people play white people. I'm just saying. How racist are you? How prejudiced are you? How discriminatory are you? Or are you just human? And no, I'm not talking about code switching because I've never known white people to have to code switch. When white people code switch, it's weird. And you did Macbeth all black. Okay, let's do the movie all black. Oh, yeah, we'll throw, Roscoe C. Brown in Othello, and he can play Othello because he has the voice, right? We'll throw Denzel Washington in something, right? They'll say, hey, look, we got a black person. The black person playing. Look, black person. But then it's only like one or two. That's it. Anybody ever seen a Lifetime movie that had all black people in it? A Hallmark movie that had all black people in it? All. Like in a black neighborhood with a black. Every single time it's some small white town. And the resident, one black person, usually a woman, and the one black guy. But that black guy is never dating a white woman, and that black girl can date a black or a white guy. Because the person that did it is cognizant that they never, ever, anyway. See, y'all done got me. Cat on a Hot Tin Roof would be good with an all-black cast. I would like to see 12 Angry Men done with an all-black cast. I would like to see 12 Angry Men done with an all-black cast with a white guy on trial. That's what I want to see. That would be interesting to see how people would respond. Didn't Harry Belafonte play in a movie where the roles were reversed? Where white people were enslaved and considered second-class citizens and black people ran everything? I'd love to see that. But Cat on a Hot Tin Roof would be great. That would be a great movie. 12 Angry Men, all black with a white man on trial. The only problem with that is you already know the outcome. You already know it. So that'll be interesting. 833-212-1017 is the number. And now with traffic here on 101.7 The Truth, bringing to us Milwaukee Black Talk traffic, here's Debbie Lazica.
Well, we got an earlier accident northbound 43 at Fond du Lac Avenue cleared up. It's out of the way, but the delays are still there, coming through the Marquette and over the high-rise bridge up to Keith. Southbound is backing up from about Center Street all the way down through the Marquette, all the way down to about the KK River crossing. Westbound 94, we've got backups from 20th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard, back on the brakes from Highway 100 to an accident scene just past Sunny Slope Road. Everything's off on the right shoulder at least. Eastbound 94 does have an accident as well at Highway 18. Delays stretching back to Highway 164. Then check the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight. Clearing skies, a low of 33. Tomorrow, sunny skies, a high of 46 at the lake, 51 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazica on 101.7 The Truth.
Don't touch that dial. More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. This is your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
Victory Garden Initiative is an 1.5 acre urban farm that sits right in the middle of the black community on Richards and Concordia. I don't know if you know that Harambe is a food desert. So within its borders, there are no major grocery stores. So people rely on things like dollar store, corner stores, liquor stores to buy food, which is all unhealthy. Everything we grow, and we grow everything, tomatoes to potatoes to carrots to corn to onions, and so on. And everything we grow is free to the community. It started in 2009. They wanted to build a sustainable food production system that was healthy and sustainable. And what that meant was giving people the resources to grow their own food and the skills to make sure that those attempts were successful.
This has been your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute. It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Here is Carrie Noni with her truth.
Sometimes the mundane isn't a burden, it's the beauty of living. I came to this conclusion after recently watching the movie Subservience on Netflix. It's a crazy film, y'all. I would suggest you check it out. But it's a story that explores our relationship with technology and how it's programmed to take our burdens away. This movie really got me thinking about how much we're wired to avoid struggle. We create tools and shortcuts to make life easier, whether it's robots, apps, or even outsourcing everyday tasks. But in the process, we risk forgetting the value of the little things we go through every day. Sure, folding laundry or grocery shopping might feel like chores. I literally dread cleaning up. But isn't there something grounding about them? Something that reminds us we're human. Life isn't just about the highlights or the easy parts. It's about the messy, repetitive, and sometimes inconvenient stuff too. Think about it. Who would you be if you didn't have to face the small frustrations that test your patience, or the routines that push you to show up for yourself or the people around you? The mundane moments, the ones we rush to escape, are often the ones that shape us. If life was nothing but convenience, where's the growth? Where's the grit that teaches us resilience? And most importantly, where's the appreciation for the moments that do take our breath away? So maybe the next time you find yourself annoyed by the daily grind and are on the brink of crashing out, you pause, you breathe, and remind yourself that the beauty of life isn't just in the big moments, but in every little thing that makes them possible.
This has been Truth Takes on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Listen to Jammin' with Juice with Ben Jammin' and Carrie Noni weekdays from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m.
this Associated Bank Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth, powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Snide. Milwaukee Brewers getting win number 3 in a row on Wednesday night, thanks in large part to Jackson Chourio, who had 5 runs batted in, including this 3-run home run.
Is a high fly ball, deep left field. Jackson Chourio goes deep at Coors. Chourio's 4th home run of the season. It is a 3-run blast. And the Brewers have broke it open in Denver.
Brewers throttling the Rockies in Denver there. 17-2 the final score. With that win, they improved to 7-5 on their season. And lastly, heading over to the NBA, where the Milwaukee Bucks will look for win number 6 in a row tonight as they get set to host the New Orleans Pelicans down here in downtown Milwaukee. That tip-off is set for 7 p.m. The Sports Update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. White man's burden. Somebody said, Lana Banana said a black 12-year-old girl wrote Shakespeare. I'm not understanding. Like, I don't understand what it is you mean. A black girl wrote Shakespeare. She wrote like Shakespeare, but I don't know if what. So Shakespeare was a 12-year-old black girl? I'm just saying. So I said, I like that movie, The White Man's Burden. Okay. I got to go watch it again. Does anybody go to plays, by the way? I like going to plays. I'm just not patient enough to sit there, right? And so I've always wanted to be an actor. Like, I did that. That's what I did in college. In high school, I danced and all that and sung and all that. And in college, I was in plays. And I did a play about Malcolm X and played the lead role as Malcolm X. It's kind of cool. I loved it. I just, when I was in college, I did everything that in my mind I thought I should at least try that. And I gave it 100%. And people told me, you should work on being an actor. And because I absolutely loved radio. And so that was that. Maybe we need to put a play trip together. Go see a play that's coming to town and get Truth Nation together and dress up and go out and maybe go to dinner and chop it up after or something like that. I don't know. Just talking off the top of my head. 833-212-1017 is the number. After Ava DuVernay let Ryan Coogler direct Black Panther because a black man could do it better, related to T'Challa, Spielberg said in hindsight he shouldn't have let a black person. He should have let a black person direct The Color Purple. Yeah, he should have. I think of the pivotal scene. You remember the pivotal scene when Oprah Winfrey got mad and she was walking through the field? Black people don't walk like that. And so some of the stage direction and some of the direction you get on the set lends authenticity to what people are doing. And when you get like that, you go, yoo-hoo. Yes, that's not how black people do. Like, black people are not interchangeable, right? You can't like pick this person up, but the ethnic background is too broad. Now, we always think about that when we think about white people. Is it going to be a good fit? Where's this person from? What do they do? Income? All that. Black people, they just move us around like a chess piece. It don't matter if it's a queen. It don't matter if it's a pawn. Just use them. Just plug them in. And sometimes that frustrates me because I see where the wrong person can be in the wrong space. And when you say something, the reply is, well, they're black. I'm like, that's not, we're not some monolithic group that we all fit in each other's place. Like, it's just, well, we're going to replace a black woman with a black woman. We're going to replace a black man with a black, no. Because if you get the wrong one, it's interesting. Carolyn say, I already have a white boy living like a black boy. I don't know what that means. That can be taken on so many levels. Wayne said, Dr. Ken, so what do you consider Hamilton? I consider Hamilton to be a play that is a takeoff on the Constitution. At a time, I mean, there are a significant number of ironies in Hamilton, and I think that was part of the point of Hamilton, is that you had people, some of them who really didn't understand what the Constitution was about anyway, and so their interpretation was kind of like, But, however, and I guess I do mean but, because in contrast to that, Hamilton was an irony. I look at it that it would be ironic and downright hypocritical that you would put a black person to play George Washington. Because George wasn't black. I mean, the slave that had his kid was, but George Washington wasn't black. So I'm just saying. Oh, 833-212-1017 is the number. They got a black man playing Dr. Watson. Okay, we're talking about a character versus real life. Can we find, but again, I guess that's what Hamilton is about too. But Carolyn was talking about they have a black man playing Dr. Watson. Okay, that is true. Dr. Watson was with Sherlock Holmes. Who's playing Sherlock? See what I'm saying? We can never play the boss. We always got to play the number two. That's like watching Batman. Like, would they ever make Batman a black guy? Would they ever make Superman a black guy? Absolutely not. No black person could do that. They wouldn't let him. Can you see a black man playing the part that Tom Cruise plays in Mission Impossible? And if y'all come up with that knucklehead Michael B. Jordan, absolutely not. He's a terrible actor. Terrible actor. Terrible. Idris Elba, he could play James Brown. Sterling K. Brown, I've never seen Sterling K. Brown in anything that was high action, high energy, like a Mission Impossible. I don't think so. James Bond, Idris Elba, absolutely yes. Most definitely. I could see that. I could definitely see that. I could see that. Carolyn said, it means my son-in-law acts and dresses like a black thug. You know, white guys are thugs too. I'm just saying. White guys are thugs too. And you know, black guys learn how to be thugs from white guys because y'all was the original, 1920s, all that. Okay. I'll just check it because, I get it, but the Angel says Spike Lee should remake White Man's Burden. Idris Elba should star in a remake of Brubaker. Those would be great. But see, I want Spike to be true to the craft. Sometimes I get tired of messages. I'm not looking for real life. I'm looking for fantasy. It's a movie. I don't want to go and be more pressed, more distressed, and more depressed because I went to go see this movie and I got me jazzed up. I don't. I just don't. Like the whole point of a movie is entertainment. You want me to go to a movie and now I'm depressed and now I'm mad because I went and saw this movie and then it upset me and I don't know. Hey, y'all, Stephen A. Smith talking about running for president in 2018. Somebody should tell Stephen A. Smith to stop smoking. Whatever he's smoking, he should stop. But I guess he figured out there's other people running and winning. He can run too. He was speaking to the National Association of Broadcasters convention in Vegas. Outspoken ESPN star said that he's starting to take the idea of running for president in 2018 a bit more seriously. I've got a good life. I don't want to be a politician, but I won't close the door. Which means what? Nothing. Nothing. I don't think so. I don't think Stephen A. Smith should. Yeah. Nah. I don't think so. Seriously. I just don't think so. And so let me get back to Donald Trump before we go to break. At some point, are we talking like Donald Trump would then go into what, black art, black theater, like do we just erase the world of black people or something? Or I don't know. I think tomorrow I'm going to jump into some stories that I came across about the insurrection and how people are, what's the word I'm looking for? Bothered by the Insurrection Act and how and how they believe they're going to dismantle America and go back to slavery and all that stuff. And so I want to read the article tomorrow. And I want to get your opinion, and then I'll give you my opinion on what the percentage is that this will occur. Because I keep hearing it over and over and over, and people are wringing their hands and doing all these things. I just don't know. I think the evidence that they're using is not, I don't know. I'm torn. So I'm going to have you help me tomorrow. Look at the Insurrection Act and how they want to use it. And so people are saying they're gonna, but I'm like, okay, so what gives you that? Well, look at what he's doing here. That's great. Connect those dots and show me how we're going to get from there to complete and total lawlessness. Help me. How Congress and the Supreme Court are going to let the Trump administration do some of these things. And so tomorrow I want to dive in on the Insurrection Act and the possible effect it can have, not just on Black America, but it'll have an effect on everyone in America. And I don't mean all the white people win and everybody else don't, because the Insurrection Act is very specific, and we have a Supreme Court that has proven, A, there's only so far you're going to go. You can take your administrative law, you can take your executive privilege that you get as president in the White House, but you're not a king, and you're really not in charge of making people do whatever you want them to do, say what you want them to say, live where you want them to live. But then I want to do juxtaposed to when we were fighting to get a Civil Rights Act, the same group of people that are working now weren't working then. the same group of people that were fighting for us then are working against us now. And so I want to look at that schism and how they have come to pass today in relation to that thing called insurrection.
Don't touch that dial. More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It's Kyle Wallace, host of Truth to Power on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, and I want you to tune in every day from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. as I engage in a community conversation I know you want to hear. From topics like our property tax bill price hike, which I know had us all shaking our heads, to the incredible MPS students getting millions of dollars worth of scholarships to pursue their dreams, I have you covered, Milwaukee. So tune in to Truth to Power every day from noon to 1 p.m. on 1017 The Truth, the Truth app, and streaming live on YouTube.
This is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying a landlord rent when you should be paying yourself? Do you want to leave a financial legacy, or would you like to have a stable place to call home? Well, it's time for you to start on the path to owning your own home instead of renting. You can work with an Axe Housing coach, and they will teach you how home ownership can be a reality. Axe Housing has helped over 4,000 families in our neighborhoods. Many times your mortgage will be a lot less than what you're paying for rent, as an average Axe family who has been helped pays around $900 per month. No matter what barriers you think you're facing, Axe Housing coaches can assist you right now. An Axe Housing coach will help you create and stick to a plan and a budget and get you ready for home ownership. If you're not dreaming of home ownership by now, you certainly should be. Let's make it a reality with Axe Housing. Get started on a virtual orientation by clicking on axehousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Don't let where you are financially right now get in the way of your very bright future of becoming a homeowner. Axe coaches are here to help.
The Alpha Phi Alpha, Delta Chi Lambda, 7 Jewels Foundation Incorporated has supported over 125 young men through the Young Gentlemen's Scholarship Botillion.
We're asking for your support to help continue this important work and empower the next generation of leaders. Through this program, young men receive mentorship, personal development, and scholarships to achieve their dreams.
We need your help to raise over $20,000 in scholarships, including a $5,000 grand prize.
Call 414-364-2835 to make a difference today. Support the Botillion, invest in the future of our young men.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Hurt by a truck? Call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
And so, breaking news, the Supreme Court of the United States has ruled that the Trump administration, or the State Department, or the Justice Department has, remember the guy that they took, scooped up off the street and took him back and said he was illegal, when in fact he had asylum here because they said if he got sent back, he would be killed? Well, they went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled against the Trump administration and said they must facilitate his return to the U.S. because he has paperwork, he has permission from the State Department to be here, and he has asylum. So that is a good win, and luckily it was against the Trump administration in just scooping people up off the street without checking their status to find out whether or not they belong here. But if you're here undocumented, ICE has every right to deport you. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Tori Lowe Show's coming up next. I will see you in 22 hours. God bless. Take care. Glenn, appreciate you. And I will see you on tomorrow. I'm out.